Hey there, welcome everybody to a brand new series. This is Google Ads for Chiropractors version 2. So I did this probably about a year and a half ago and I published it on YouTube, got a lot of positive feedback. Unfortunately, right after I published it, Google changed the entire interface. So I have to redo it, obviously, right? So that was about, I think, 2.5 hours of training. We're going to go through it again. Why not? Enough time has gone by. Google Ads is dynamic. It never stays still. Things change all the time. We're going to make this even better the second time around. I'm adding a couple of different sections. So I think we'll end up with about 10 videos. So let me just cover this from the top down. So let's just talk about multi-channel marketing. Get myself out of here a little bit. So Google, what we're going to talk about exists up here, right? So we're talking about Google Ads. We're going to talk a little bit about Facebook and Instagram as well, because that's part of the funnel. What we do is very specialized for chiropractors. And a lot of times it's the 1-2 punch of Google and Facebook working together at various stages of the funnel. So, and we're going to get into the details on that here shortly. But if you're running any other marketing channels, you're probably very familiar with the other options that are available, right? So we have email, of course, and SMS, text-based marketing, especially for existing patients. Content marketing and SEO kind of go together, right? So building out content, making sure you're ranking, which is especially challenging now with AI. There's a lot of AI generated content that could be negative, right? And actually hurt your listings. And then of course, online reviews are very important for chiropractors, reputation management, direct mail, snail mail, the old school, postcards, brochures, whatever it is you're sending out. Community events, being very involved in the community, really important if you're a small independent chiropractor and you're working, against big chain chiropractic accounts like The Joint, to be able to differentiate yourself and really focus on quality chiropractic care and being part of the community. Of course, referral programs, working with a wide variety of different businesses within your community, local SEO I just talked about, and then social media marketing, which is more of that owned media where you're in Facebook and Instagram posting on a regular basis. But what we're going to focus on in this series is right up here at the 12 and 1 o'clock position of these circles. So specific to Google Ads and Facebook. Okay. So why Google Ads? Just real quick. If you're here watching these videos, you probably know why, but let's just cover it quickly. Immediate visibility into high intent searches. So these are people which we call them bottom of the funnel searches, high commercial intent. They know exactly what they're looking for. You don't have to convince them of anything, right? So they're looking for chiropractor near me, chiropractor, your town name, maybe conditions that are very specific to any ailments that they're dealing with that time. So very, immediate visibility, right? So you can capture that high intent traffic and convert it into long-term patients, hopefully, right away. Precision local targeting. So you can run ads to radiuses or zip codes. You can layer that with incomes and different demographic targeting. Cost-effective pay-per-click model. So your ads can show all day and you don't even get charged until somebody clicks on them, right? But the goal is to get the right clicks. All clicks are not created equal. That's why we're going to get into the right keyword targeting for your account. So it's pay-per-click, or PPC is what it can be referred to as well. High ROI potential. And this is really important because, again, it goes back to keywords. Like some keywords are not high converting, but they're high cost. And we do a whole analysis on that, making sure you're focusing on the right keywords. ROI at the end of the day is everything, right? And we look at cost per click all the way to cost per acquisition, and then long-term patient value, and making sure that everything you're bidding on has a comfort zone where you know exactly how much you can bid and still remain profitable. And that's really by service area as well, by the way. So, or service offering, I should say. Also, number 5, targeting specific conditions and demographics. We talked about demographics, but very specific conditions. When we build out these campaigns for chiropractors, They're very granular. So we can turn on and off ad groups as needed for different conditions, for example. And we'll get into that as well. Competitive advantage in fierce markets. So a lot of the markets that we deploy chiropractic accounts in are fierce. It can be very, very competitive, and it's an auction, right? So the more competitors there are in there, the higher your CPCs or cost per click. If you're in a small market, you're going to be spending less, right? So we get very strategic and tactical about getting the right ads in the right spot for the right keywords in your market. And we're going to get into the details of that in these videos as well. Measurable results and optimization. So everything that we do is measurable. Like you're going to see it, how to set up your, your columns, for example, and see the right key metrics, key performance metrics that you need to make sure that you are measuring what needs to be measured. We don't get into vanity metrics so much. Get in a little bit, but there's a time and place for everything. In the beginning, it's about high intent searches. And then we get into other types of searches that are more branding oriented, but we don't start with branding. We have to work our way there, right? Once the account is profitable. And then total and complete transparency. So this is not the days of running ads and not really knowing what's working. In digital marketing, you know exactly if everything's set up correctly, your conversion measurement is on point. You're measuring your phone calls. You're looking at the length of phone calls, maybe even monitoring phone calls. You should know to a very high degree what's working and what's not. So this is not yesteryear where, you had no idea. You just threw thousands of dollars out the door and you're like, hope and pray that it turns into something. It's very different now, right? So that's the why of Google Ads. And let me just mention this, right at the top, a little commercial. I'm going to slide in here for Brand Rocket. If you need help, we do chiropractic accounts all day long. We do it for specialty chiropractors, prenatal, pregnancy. We do it for sports chiropractors. We do it for just general chiropractic. We do the entire thing. So we could do this top to bottom, complete campaign build for you if you'd rather just focus on delivering quality chiropractic care and growing your practice. We can handle all of this, the Google Ads, the details of Google Ads, which changes all the time, and it's really hard to keep up with it, and it can be quite wasteful if you're not configuring properly. But if you're here for the long haul and you just want to learn about it, I can totally respect that as well, and we're going to get into the details of that. But know that I'm always here to help. So right through brandrocket.net, you can actually schedule time with me, like brandrocket.net/schedule if you're interested in Google Ads assistance. Okay. So let me talk about how this is going to work just briefly. So Google Ads marketing for chiropractors, it's full funnel, but we start at the bottom of the funnel and work our way backwards. So the bottom of the funnel is like where somebody is doing high intent searches, right? So that's when somebody's most aware of what they're looking for. So they're doing searches for like chiropractor near me, for example, right? Chiropractor town name. And you can see here the Google ecosystem, different parts of the Google ecosystem apply to different levels of the funnel. So we start with search, we start with maps, we start with not really remarketing on Google, but because of HIPAA, but we can do it on Facebook, and we'll talk more about that in the videos themselves. This is more service aware than product aware. But then as we move back through the funnel, it's kind of strange because it's the opposite of what you expected. But a traditional marketing funnel, we're starting at the bottom with very selective, high commercial intent searches, training the algorithm on those success metrics, success signals from conversion tracking on form fills and calls, and those signals get fed into the Google algorithm, and then we're able to walk that back up through the funnel and expand, grow, and scale your audience as we move forward in time. Okay, so we're going to cover a lot here for sure. So starting with number one, and these will be different videos. So number one, conversion tracking is food for the algorithm. First thing that we do is make sure the measurement is in place. Super, super important, vital for your success. It's not only about you knowing your numbers. It's about informing Google as to what is value to your practice and what is not. And we're going to cover that in detail. Number 2, knowing your goals. Without knowing your goals, it's like throwing darts in a dark closet. You have no idea what you're aiming at, right? Sometimes you'll hit it, most of the times you won't. We really need to hone in on the goals and what's important to you and make sure the measurement is set up properly. Number 3, determining your proper budget. So what are you willing to spend? And I get these questions all the time, like, what should I spend? It's like, well, okay, it's not an easy question to answer because you don't know until you actually deploy and can see what your market is, like how competitive your market is. But what you should know right away is like how much these keywords are, right? So we will take you through that process of understanding, the market price of the keywords, conversion rates, what you can expect in terms of conversions, conversion rates, landing page quality. This part of that is as well, because that landing page does a heavy lifting for converting post-click. And we'll look at all of that, right, to see, okay, what can you afford to spend for these different keywords? Some markets, these keywords can be expensive. Other markets, they're not. And it can be cyclical as well, depending on the time of the year. So we'll get into that. Understanding your key Google formulas for top performance. So we're going to get into like ad rank. What does ad rank mean? We're going to talk about quality score. We're not going to get super deep in it, but just like owning a car, you should know how to check the oil or change your tires, right? You should know how the basic functionality works within Google, because if you do, it's no longer a mystery. It's like, okay, this is ad rank. This is what I need to do. Ad rank equals CPC bid times quality score. What is quality score? And we'll get into all of that stuff so you have a good, solid understanding and a comfort level of what we do and what you'll do if you do it yourself when it comes to like optimizing your campaign structure and your keyword, your campaigns, your ad groups, and then your keywords, right? Number 5, we'll talk about keyword research, identifying, again, high commercial intent, really important in the very beginning to be able to see what those keywords are. Thankfully, we've done so many of these that we know exactly what keywords work. Or at least 90% of them are the same from market to market to market, where we can deploy this stuff pretty quickly. Every market is different, of course, and every chiropractor is different in terms of like the types of patients that they want to attract, right? So we can get into specialization as well. But keyword research will be an important one that we're going to cover in a separate video. Number 6, proper campaign structure to target the right searches. And again, starting at the bottom of the funnel, working our way back. What does that look like in terms of like how those campaigns are structured? We're going to get into those. There's different campaigns that we launch at different times over a period of like, I would say 3, 6, 9, 12 months, and we'll talk about that. Profitable bidding strategies. So we are going to talk about how we're bidding. How are we attracting those high intent searches and not wasting ad dollars, or doing everything we can to minimize wasteful ad dollars. And it's really, really important because Google wants you to waste your ad dollars. If you start setting up campaigns right now, they're going to force you into broad match or try to get you to do things you don't want to do. They're going to try to get you to expand it to the display network right away. Your location settings will be defaulted to something wacky, so there's things that we need to talk about in detail about profitable bidding strategies that happen over time. So everything there's a very set order to the way that campaigns are launched, so that we optimize your ad spend with as little waste as possible. Number 8, creating effective ad copy. Google ads, now search ads, 15 different headlines, right? 15 headlines, 4 different descriptions, a bunch of ad assets. How do you develop the ad copy? Like, what is the right way to do it? We're going to get into the details on that as well. Using your website content, and then a bunch of AI tools that I like to also, just to make sure that we're doing the right thing. And then checking competitors. So there's a whole bunch of different things that we do to create really strong ad copy. We don't rely on AI, but it's good to do spot checks. Make sure we're not missing anything, right? So we're using ChatGPT and Gemini and Grok and Anthropic's Claude and maybe even Meta's Llama. So we check a lot of different tools just to make sure your ad copy is strong as possible right out of the gate. Performance Max campaigns. There's a time for Performance Max. For lead gen, We never launch with Performance Max because it can be quite wasteful, but there's a time and place for PMax, and we'll talk about that. And then finally, 10 bonus campaign settings. We talk about what do we need to do to set up the campaigns the right way in your settings. There's a lot of settings that are absolutely mind-boggling, and we'll go through those step by step to see exactly how they need to be set up, okay? And I will conclude with this. Campaign rollout strategy. Okay, I talked about this in the video earlier, but this is what we do. We have a monthly rollout strategy from month 1 to month 12. Okay, and the way that we start at the bottom of the funnel and work our way backward. Remember, bottom of the funnel, work our way back, right? It starts expanding. So that bottom of the funnel, that tiny little part of the funnel, very, very tight exact match keywords where we know exactly what we're targeting. And then we start to, as we get more conversions in the account and we're informing and training the algorithm, there's other things that we could do in introducing new campaign types to be able to expand and grow and scale your chiropractic Google Ads account. And you'll see that here in a chart where we're starting off with, exact match. We introduce other types of campaigns. The purple remarketing is not Google. You can't do it on Google, but it's like the snap in of like Meta, like Facebook campaigns as well that run in parallel. You don't have to do it, but I would seriously suggest it for sure. And then eventually in time, we start to do display. Now we're going more branding, right? And we're reaching thousands and thousands and thousands of people in your local community through display ads or even video ads on YouTube. But there's a time and place. We don't start with that. That happens later. There's a method to the madness, right? So I'm excited to do this whole video set over, and because a lot has changed, and a lot is still the same, but there's a lot of changes here that are for the better. And of course, that's the world of Google Ads. It's always advancing. So let's get started. Again, if you need help, just reach out. We're here to help. We do this stuff all day long. All right. Thanks. I'll see you in the next video.